99X. It's Barnes and Leslie, the Morning X. You know, we had Evan Dando on earlier in the week from the Lemonheads. I've always loved the Lemonheads.
It's great to talk to him, too. Living in Brazil.
That got me rabbit-holing Lemonheads music while I'm working at my desk. I was playing everything. And I love the new music. But during the interview, I asked him about this urban legend that he, once upon a time, took a girl to her prom in Atlanta. And he confirmed that
He's
indeed...
like, yeah, it happened.
And he met her at Stone Mountain at our show at Metro Mountain, which scares me because I saw him that day and he was up there.
We didn't bring that up. It was like 90 degrees and he had a sweater on.
Right. And so we tracked her down, and this is Megan Wargula, who is the girl who asked him to the prom, or he asked you, Megan.
I asked him, yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, Megan.
Thank you so much. Hey, it's nice to see you guys.
I need to hear this story again. Seriously, can you walk us through how you met Evan Dando?
Yeah, even like before that.
Yes.
Did you go there? Did you go to our concert at Metro Mount under the impression you were going to track him down? Or was this a spontaneous thing that happened? How did it all unfold?
So it's so funny how much 99X plays into this entire story. So senior year of high school for me was 1992. So this was 93. And prior to the Metro Mount concert, the Lemonheads were actually playing at the Masquerade, I think a couple months before.
I remember.
Yeah. So I had tickets. It was going to be my first Lemonheads show, and my parents did not allow me to go. Kind of a long story, but they were going to be out of town. I couldn't go. I was heartbroken. So my friend who was going to go with me came into town from Alabama, where she was going to school. She graduated a year ahead of me. And I was listening to 99X that day, and y'all had Evan on, and he said where he was staying and what hotel room number.
Of course he did.
He said, if anyone wants to come by and say hi, come by.
I can't believe he did that.
I couldn't believe it either. I can still remember being in my bedroom listening to like my boombox, and hearing that and writing it down.
And for context, at that point, he was a big rock star. I mean, this
it was like,
young, good-looking dude.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I would never give out my hotel room as like an anonymous person, but especially being, what he was at that level. So my friends came in and they were like, well, let's do something. And my sister was kind of the reason why I couldn't go. It's a long story, but she kind of was the reason I couldn't go. So my parents were out of town. It was me and my sister and my friends. And I told them, well, he said where he's staying. And they were like, why don't we go? And I was like, well, we can't go. I have to stay home with my sister. So like, this isn't going to work. And they looked at my sister and they said, do you want to go? And she said, well, sure. And so we loaded up into the friends like clunker of a car and we drove downtown, and the show wasn't over yet. So like I have a little journal that I found where I wrote all this down, thankfully.
So you're driving to the hotel or to the concert?
Well, we went to see if the concert was over yet, because
But that wasn't easy to get in at Stone Mountain. It wasn't like you could just pull up and...
This was the Masquerade.
Oh, the Masquerade. Okay,
show.
Sorry.
Yeah. So to make that all quick, basically, we eventually went and waited in the service elevator of the hotel room on the 10th floor.
Jeez, stalker.
Yeah.
How long did you wait?
I don't think it was very long. I think, I don't even remember, but I don't think it was too terribly long. We heard voices. We went out. We knocked on the door. Evan answered. There were a couple of young ladies in there.
Of course.
They were a little bit older than me. I was 17, so they probably were in their like early 20s. And then what I called the old ladies showed up. They were probably in their 30s at the time.
Right.
And there was a group of us. We hung out. He played acoustic guitar, for us, played some songs.
Like a little private concert.
Yeah.
So wait, he said that you asked him at Metro Mount. Is that not true?
No, that is true.
Okay. I'm sorry. I keep going.
So that was how I met him. And we hung out for a little bit, and then we left. And fast forward to prom. I was supposed to...
Did the other girls leave? Or like when you were hanging out, or you just came in and made it a party?
Well, we came in and made it a party, and then we left.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
you left, and other people stayed.
Yes,
the older girls stayed. Yes,
we were the good girls, the nice girls, right?
You were
and
17.
one boy.
I'm glad you left. We'd be having a different interview right now had you not.
Yes. Well, and I wrote this all into a book, and the book is called Nice Girls Finish First.
Good.
Because, you can be a good girl and a nice girl and still have your integrity.
Yes.
So we left, it was late, very late for, some teenagers. So we went home, and then fast forward to prom. I was supposed to go with a boy that I had met at a Dinosaur Jr. concert that I'm sure was a 99X show.
You little rocker. Yeah.
I know. Well, look, I had to sit through Power 99 for years with my sister. And so I was so glad when 99X came around. I was at that show, met him, and we dated long distance because it turned out he was from South Georgia and 2 years older than me. So I had never been asked to a prom, a dance, anything. Really shy, quiet, nice person.
Sound like me in high school. Yeah.
Yeah, this is for all of the nice girls out there, the invisible girls. So I was so excited. I was finally going to a dance. And it doesn't help that I'm 6 feet tall. So, boys aren't really like lining up to date the tall girls. So 10 days before prom, the boy called and said that his car was having trouble and he wasn't going to be able to come.
Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah,
I was devastated. It was like, that total teen moment of throwing yourself on the bed and just despair.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Megan Wargula, who asked Evan Dando back in the 90s to her prom. And at that point, of course, a big rock star with Lemonheads and still is with Lemonheads. But we're at the story where she's met him, about to go to the big concert out at Stone Mountain. Yeah,
so I had bought tickets to the Metro Mount Festival because the Lemonheads were playing, and I couldn't see them, at that show at the Masquerade. So I had told the boy, and I'm keeping him anonymous, but I had told the boy, I said, we'll go to the concert because it's a daytime concert, and then we'll get ready and go to prom. Because, when you love music, that's what you do, right? It's the most important thing.
Sure.
So,
and by the way, that was a huge turning point for 99X. At that point, there was question whether 99X was going to live or die. And
no way.
And we put this. We had no idea how many people would show up, and I think 20,000 people showed up for Metro Mount, that concert.
And we were like, "Oh, someone is listening," and then it went on. So carry on. So you show up.
Yes.
Yeah. So we show up, and my friend from who's in school at Auburn comes back home and is like, okay, since you now can't go to your prom, I'll come to the concert with you. So we go to the concert. We watch some bands, and we see that Evan and two of the girls from the hotel are hanging out by the lake. So we make our way over there, and he remembers us and says hello, and we talk to them. And then, off he runs to go get ready to play. So my friend and I make our way somehow to the front of the stage and watch the show. And afterwards, we're hanging around because I'm sure we were hoping we'd get to see him again. I'm sure we were stalking him
of course
some
you
more.
Were.
Yeah. So, and we did. They came back out, and him with the two girls that we had met previously.
Man, they are locked on.
Yeah, they're with him.
Yes. So I told him, I said, this concert was awesome. I was supposed to go to my prom tonight and I couldn't, and this made up for it. And he said, when's your prom? And the way he said it, I just got so much, like, I guess, guts and boldness, and said, tonight, you want to go? And of course, in true Evan fashion, he was like, that'd be cool.
Oh, wow. Not even a hesitation. He's just like, yeah.
No. Yeah.
And so what did you say?
So it was kind of like this big, entourage of people at that point. Because as you said, Evan was pretty much at the height of everything at that point. And we walked across the parking lot and went to the backstage area. And I wrote this in my journal. I'm so glad people write your memories down, because there's so many details you'll forget. But everybody else had passes, but us. And so one of the girls from the hotel was like, they're with us, and let us in. So thanks to her, we got to go in and hang out for a little bit. And that's when we're all just sitting there hanging out, and I'm sitting there going, are we going to prom or are we not going? What are we doing? And we were saying our goodbyes, and I said, so...
Stopping you right there. I've got to take a break. I want to hear what happens with the rest of this story. We have to break. This is the original. We're talking about Evan Dando inviting Megan, she invited him to her prom, and we're going to find out what happened. We'll be back. This is the original. It's 99X. 99X, it's Barnes and Leslie. We are back. We're talking to Megan Wargula, who met Evan Dando years ago in the 90s and at a show invited him to her prom. And that's where we left off in the story. You were, after the show, you were talking to Evan. You had just mentioned your prom was in and invited him. And then what?
And everybody was getting ready to leave. The Lemonheads were going to go see INXS at the Omni that night. And I asked Evan, I'm like, so you want to go to my prom? You know, I asked again. And he said, let me check with the record people. I don't know if y'all ever met Todd Elmore, but he was one of
Todd's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Todd. Todd and Evan were talking and I think they were trying to convince him to go to see INXS, but he wanted to go to the prom. And so he came back out and said, yeah, I can go. I gave him my phone number. You know, this is before cell phones.
Yeah,
so
right. He called the landline.
Yeah.
Well, this is all so fast. How does this coordination happen?
Yeah, I mean, and you're thinking, is he really going to call me?
I remember that day vividly. It was super hot. Yep. Everybody was sweating like crazy at the concert.
And Michael Hutchins was there.
Michael Hutchins was there. They did the song. They did Mrs. Robinson, I believe. So
I can't remember.
You race home.
Yeah. So tell us what happens next.
Essentially, I raced home, showered. I had the dress, right? I don't even think I washed my hair. I think I just showered and got dressed. And he called and said, I don't think I can come. And I'm like, I'm not getting stood up for prom twice. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, we can't find anything for me to wear. They were trying to rent him a tuxedo. And I was like, it doesn't matter what you wear. I have a dress. He's like, are they going to let us in? I'm like, they will let us in. You know, I was a determined woman at that point. You know, I was
and you're bringing a big rock star to your prom.
You can wear whatever you want, Evan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're Evan Dando. You can wear what you want. So I said, you know, well, it'll be fine. So went down, picked him up, forgot to call my mom. My mom and my sister were out. So they come home and see that Megan's gone to prom and they're confused.
So your parents didn't know?
No, my dad was out of town. So I call my mom from Evan's hotel room telling her what I'm doing.
And what did she say?
It's the best line. I had to use it in the book. She said, Megan, just remember he's a man, not a boy.
That's true.
And I was such I was not that girl anyway. I was a virgin. I was high moral fiber. You know, I was not thinking that at all. That was not the girl I was.
Well, so did he do a photo op parade wave? He just showed up and said, hey, or did he actually stay and participate in the prom?
Yeah, we went right in and we danced. We ate some fruit. I introduced him to a couple of friends who I knew of the Lemonheads. And then as we're dancing, my mom shows up.
She's worried. You're with a man.
Yes.
A rock star man.
Yes, but like a good mom who is the wife of a Canon camera salesperson, she brings the camera, takes a couple of pictures, and she was the one that suggested we get the professional picture, which I would not have done had she not suggested it, because I would not have asked Evan to do that.
Well, but he was there. Of course he's going to do the picture.
But I have to ask you, though, you walk in with Evan Dando from the Lemonheads. Surely there were some heads turning.
I don't know, because I wasn't looking her. I think I was just so in the moment.
Yeah, you had to be just in space.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if, because I don't know that, all of my classmates knew the Lemonheads, but obviously you walk in with somebody that looks like Evan Dando and you realize that's somebody, And
what did he end up wearing?
It's so funny. You said the sweater. He wore the sweater, the T-shirt, the jeans that he had on at the concert.
Oh, he had to stink.
No? I don't know how he didn't stink. But, and a friend actually lent him the jacket, the vest, the little bow tie for our picture. So he took the sweater off and he looked, he looked pretty good.
So great. Good for you. What a great story. So you're
an amazing story.
You're writing a book?
Yeah, so I've written a YA novel based on this. All of the Evan stuff is true. If you go to nicegirlbooks.com, you can get a free chapter, which is the meeting Evan the first time. It's a couple of chapters.
What a cool story.
It's going to be out in April. But I just thought, like Leslie, you said in the interview with Evan, it's straight out of a John Hughes movie. It needed to be told.
This is great.
Let's stay in touch when this book comes out, because bigger things might happen for you. You never know.
That's very cool.
Absolutely. I would love to. And like I said, 99X plays such a big role in the story. As I was writing it, I kept like, oh my gosh, it's amazing how God works and how everything falls into place.
That is so awesome. Megan
Thank you for sharing it.
Went to her prom with big rock star Evan Dando from the Lemonheads in the 90s. You just heard the story, and you can get the book soon. Thank you. That was really cool to hear.
Thanks, Megan.
Thanks, guys.
Let's play some Lemonheads. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
This is the original. It's 99X.